para mí estar aquí.
It's an honor to be here.
El motivo que me trae aquí es mi hija Vanessa Guillen. Yo quiero que usted me ayude a que se haga justicia por mi niña.
She wants your help to bring justice for what happened to her daughter and for her daughter.
Que lleguemos a la verdad de qué es lo que pasó ahí. Realmente qué es lo que pasó, quiénes son los responsables.
She wants to know who's really responsible and who was responsible for what happened to her daughter and why didn't people act on it.
Y que nos ayude a pasar ese bill a nombre de mi niña, porque ella murió y salió toda la luz, todo lo que estaba pasando en las bases militares.
And her daughter died. Her daughter died in service of the country from the hand of people who are in the military.
Y yo quiero que usted me ayude a llegar a la verdad,
She just wants your help to get at the truth, to get at the justice, the truth.
Yo sé que usted tiene hijos, sabe lo que es amar un hijo. Y que Dios le toque su corazón y que vea mi sufrimiento.
And this is from her heart, and she knows it's of your heart.
Well, I saw this on one of the shows recently, and I was just looking, and it hit me very hard. I saw what happened to your daughter Vanessa, who is a spectacular person and respected and loved by everybody, including in the military. And I invited you to the White House. As you know, the FBI and the DOJ are now involved. We got them involved. And the people at Fort Hood, where it took place, are very much involved. We didn't want to have this swept under the rug, which could happen. And so I'd like you maybe just, if you'd like, for the media to explain exactly what happened as we all understand it, but they don't, perhaps.
So, President Trump, first of all, thank you very much for hosting this family. It's a beautiful family that I represent. I'm attorney Natalie Kawam. I'm doing this case pro bono because I believe in it, and I believe in our military, and I believe in justice.
Good.
And like you love the military, you love our veterans, and you've proven that today by just bringing us into your home to begin with. Secondly, we have formed together to figure out what happened and how it happened. And just to give background, Vanessa was having issues internally with some of the sergeants and such, hitting on her, sexually harassing her. We don't know how far it went because a lot of women don't always speak up. They just are afraid.
Other people other than the one in question, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So, and it's a systemic problem there, you know, and you have young kids, boys, girls, 18, 20, 21, but there isn't enough protections in place because they get nervous about retaliation. And I knew about the problem, but I didn't know how severe it was. Like I said, I thought I was picking a scab, and here I saw it was septic. It's terrible. The hashtag I am Vanessa Guillen. If you go to that, you will read all these stories of these young women that serve our country, how broken they are. Like when they report it, what happens in a chain of command, and then they get retaliated against, and they got clean toilets and stuff like that. So I understand why Vanessa wouldn't want to go formally report it. So she did tell her family, she told her friends, she told some of the soldiers with her how they were, this guy, especially this guy, Aaron.
In particular, him, right?
Aaron Robinson, that's correct.
Others also?
That's correct. So I understand that she was in a locker room, the girls' locker room, taking a shower, and he walked in and sat there and stared at her showering, like just creepy. And unfortunately, we believe that she was going to report him because he was with her in the room that day, her day off. They asked her to come in. Makes no sense, right? We're not getting all the answers, by the way. And he supposedly took a hammer and killed her in the room, bludgeoned her to death. If you go into this room, the room is probably like a quarter this size of this room. And it's open, so people can hear and see things. So how no one heard her screaming, how no one saw the blood, those are like questions we still have. But when he did that to her, he carried her body out, and he buried it in the river nearby. He used a machete.
And nobody saw this? Nobody saw it?
Nobody saw this, right? And he used a machete to cut her up with his girlfriend. And he tried to burn her body when it burned. I mean, the horribleness. I said it reminded me of like ISIS, what they do to our soldiers. And when I heard about the story, they contacted me and said, can you help us? And I said, absolutely, can I help you? These are immigrants. My family's immigrants. You come to this country, you want to serve it, you want to do the best you can. And I didn't want them getting railroaded. I know that it's hard to navigate through the military. I know it's hard to navigate through Congress. And I knew that we needed to do something. We need a congressional investigation because there's so many, how does that happen? How did this happen? A lot of cover-ups. When I tried to work with the CID, I said, what subpoenas have you issued? Because I'll issue some subpoenas with you, like to help you out. Like, so, they wouldn't tell me what subpoenas they issued. They wouldn't tell me anything. So, right. I found that it was very difficult to communicate. There was no transparency. So what we could do collectively to get justice for Vanessa is we need reform. We need a bill. And, I drafted a bill that hashtag I'm Vanessa Guillen. Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma.
Right. Good guy.
Great guy. Love him. It's right now in Ledge Council. But what it does is it says, the way we have the EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, how if someone can report something, you go to the EEOC. We're looking for something that's going to allow our military, our soldiers, to have the same rights and protections. So that way they're not going to their chain of command or internally. What they're doing is they're going outside the command and reporting something. So suppose this kind of situation would have been in place, if we had this kind of bill in place, Vanessa could have reported this and they would have said, wait a second, this guy Aaron Robinson has a few of these problems. Like, look at this guy's.
So did she report anything at all?
She reported it to her family and friends and some of the soldiers. She didn't do a formal report.
Not to the fort, not to the people.
Right, not to the command, her bosses, who are also above her, who she's saying that were sexually harassing her. So it's hard to go to the boss that's giving you problems to report him. It's like the fox over the hen house.
I want to thank you. It's a great explanation. Would you like to say something? Please.
I believe, I respect our military, that not all people are bad, but the way they treat Vanessa, they treated us. No transparency, no respect. They did not respect our pleading. They did not respect our pleading of my mother, and they did not respect my sister. Because I believe that the hashtag I am Vanessa Guillen, and we have a whole nation behind us, that the hashtag I am Vanessa Guillen would help our men and women in the armed forces because they're the ones putting their life at risk. They say protect our protectors. They deserve to be respected, to be heard, and to be honored just like Vanessa. Because it's a disgrace that when you get sexually harassed, you have to report it onto your line of command. But 80% of the time, the line of command is actually sexually harassing you. So you wouldn't have the confidence nor the trust to report it. That's why Vanessa did not report it, because she was afraid of retaliation, or afraid of judgment, because she was ashamed of herself, even though the shame was the aggressor. And we need a change, and we need a positive change, because our troops need to feel safe, need to feel respected, because they're the ones putting their life at risk. But yet, my sister was truly, deeply in love. She said, if I have to go station in Iraq, if I have to go to combat, I will die proudly because I'm a patriot and I'm serving the country. I am protecting my own family. She was in love with the country, is what you're saying. I was serving my family. I was protecting my family, right. But yet she died on base. Yeah. How can this happen on a military base where you think everything's safe, but yet the soldiers are not safe? So we need a congressional investigation because it's impossible that no one saw, no one heard anything. Yet there were people, my sister was not supposed to go to work, yet someone sent her to work. So if it was a day off, where were all the soldiers? It's a humongous space. Someone had to hear, someone had to saw what was going on in that arms room, and we want to find the truth because the truth will come out. And
now, as you know, the DOJ and the FBI are there, and they're doing a very strong investigation, as is the Army. So they're doing a very strong investigation, as you know. We just started that. It's an incredible story. It's a terrible story. Would you like to say something?
Sure. First, I want to thank you for taking the time, taking us in. It's an honor to be able to meet you, and I know you're going to help us. And honoring our sister, passing the bell. And of course, I want to point out how is it that her chain of command failed drastically. It's, the first day I arrived, I was received by Robinson himself and a couple other males, and I felt that they were trying to intimidate me, but they didn't get it, and that's why we're here today.
So he took his life. When after this horrible event, when did he take his life? When was it?
Probably
I
72
think when
days.
they were about to arrest him.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, so that was, I see, so they found out, et
Right.
cetera.
He was under watch, and he just went off. And
Did they
then
know right away? Did you know right away? Did everybody know it was him?
I
She
felt
knew right
it.
away.
The day I
She
went,
felt-
I felt it.
But he was a truly coward. If he killed himself, he couldn't attempt the consequences. Think over your actions before you do something. But he was a true coward. But I want her leadership to be questioned.
So we're gonna look into it very powerfully, and we already have started, as you know.
Right.
And we'll get to the bottom of it, and maybe things can come out that will help other people in a situation like Vanessa. And we'll be in touch with you constantly. We'll be in touch with you too. Natalie, thank you very much. It was great.
¿Puedo decirle algo a él?
Yes, please.
Mire, mi hija ya es historia por toda la nación, por todo el mundo.
Her daughter's story is a story of the whole nation. It's for everyone.
Mi hija la ha soñado muchas veces y me dice que salve a unos niños, Yo no sé qué niños se refiere. Yo quiero que usted me ayude, no sé qué niños. No sé si son los niños que están en la frontera, no sé, pero ella me dice que salve a los niños, Y es lo que quiero que me ayude también en esos niños, porque ella es historia, usted va a ser parte de esa historia. Si usted me ayuda, va a ser parte de esa historia, algo bueno que se hizo a la nación.
She just said that my sister Vanessa Guillen, she's making history, whole nation, almost international, and she wants you to be a part of it because we hope to have your support. And as she said, my sister, she had a whole life ahead of her, and her life was taken away the most disgusting way anyone could take a human's life. She wanted to be a mother.
It's true.
And everyone has a family, so everyone could feel the small pain. And she just dreams of her and how she wants to save children, but everyone has heart, so we expect people's compassion, we expect people to help us, and we hope to have your support in this bill.
Y va a ser algo histórico, es historia.
You will be making history within Vanessa because we need a change, and the change is now, and we need something positive so the soldiers feel safe to be recruited, feel safe while serving their nation, feel honored to serve their nation, but to feel respected and safe, and that's how the bill will help them. Because not only women, it's also men. I have heard many stories, and hopefully we have your support.
Y él va a estar con mi hija en la historia que hizo algo bueno. Él va a estar en la historia de mi niña para toda la vida.
Yeah, because this bill will mark a whole lifetime, and that you will be in it, that you will be making history within Vanessa, and people will be so thankful and blessed for having your support.
Well, you have our support, and we're working on it already, as you know. And we won't stop, and hopefully something very positive will come out in honor of your sister, okay, and your daughter. We will, yes,
You know,
absolutely.
President Trump, the saddest part of this all is her funeral's around the corner, and they won't have her body in the casket. Sometimes people need closure when they see someone's face or body in a casket, and there's no body. You know, it's
So when you
horrific.
say around the corner, you mean there has not been a funeral
No,
yet?
not yet.
How come?
We're planning on it, we're planning to have.
Did you get any of our
I was in
notes?
touch with the Texas Rangers and FBI, and they told me that because the investigation was still open, they would call me as soon as I would be able to receive.
Well, they have to do that. I mean,
Right. And I feel like we should be able to,
That's no good. We got to take care of that.
right, if you
Thank
could,
you.
thank you.
You mean you haven't had a funeral, because this is quite a while now?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I even saw it quite a while ago.
Correct.
And because you don't have the body yet,
No remains.
No, that's all we're,
but they have the body.
yes.
The remains.
Okay.
It's just a disgrace, and how can
Yeah.
someone be capable of doing that?
No, it's
just-
a terrible thing. When would you like to have the funeral? When?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, I agree. As soon as possible with the funeral. We'll make sure that happens.
Ya,
Okay,
es que
please.
tienen que entregármela ya.
Thank you.
Ya porque es.
Where will you
es
have the
humano.
funeral? Do you know?
Houston,
In Houston?
yeah.
All right. And if I can help you out with the funeral, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. Financially, I'll help you.
Thank you.
I think the military maybe taking care of it.
Good. They'll do a military. That's good. If you need help, I'll help you out.
Thank you, President.
Okay, if they need something, we'll take care. We'll make sure she is very respected.
Thank you.
Because I've seen statements about her from other people, as you know, and you don't get better statements about a person. I see many statements about many people. I don't see statements like that. So she was very extraordinary, and thank you, Natalie, very good job.
President.
You're doing good, so we'll coordinate. John, do you have any questions of the family, please? We're going to keep this to Vanessa right now, if we could. Do you have-
Wondering, Mr. President, you've got the FBI, the DOJ, the DOD involved. The family is asking for legislation in the military similar to the EEOC in civilian life. What can you as president do to try to push that process
Well,
along?
we're doing that right now, and we're working, and actually, we've been working on it since I heard about it originally. And we're going to see if we can do something representing the family, but also helping other people that are in the same position, because this is not, probably, sadly, it's probably not that unique. There are other people in trouble, too.
That's right.
So we're going to look into that very strongly, John. Okay?
Is there a culture in the military that you're worried about, or what needs to happen here?
Well, it would seem to be, what would you think about that? Is there a culture? Is this a culture in the military?
Sexually harassing a person shouldn't be daily. Murdering a person on a military base shouldn't be monthly, like all those
Yeah.
bodies found in forehead. It needs to change, and the change is now. It needs to be transparency and for the truth to come out, what is happening on forehead, and to have an investigation, because, it's impossible that no one saw, no one heard Vanessa, that saw Vanessa. It's impossible.
Certainly unusual. This was, Steve, a very horrific situation. Well, I don't know if you read about it or saw it, but it impacted me. I saw it, and it was terrible. And so we're going to get to the bottom of it. And how could it have happened when nobody knew about it at all? They must have known.
I think there was a lot of cover-ups.
Right.
Like, for example, that guy, Aaron Robinson, I don't even want to call him a guy, the animal. I think that what happened and what transpired with so many eyes and ears there, I really feel like they don't want to think it was him. It was like confirmatory bias. They wanted to keep looking the other way. And it just, not sure why they were protecting him.
But remember, they ultimately got him. And that's when he committed suicide, I guess. But they ultimately got him, so that was, frankly, somebody did that. Who did that? Who was in charge? They didn't let him get away with it, is what I'm saying. And they probably wouldn't have.
So they issued a bolo, which is be on the lookout for him, and he escaped somehow on foot. And I'm not sure if they gave him the hint, because how did they let the one guard who was watching him, how did he miss him? Then the second guard was watching, then the guards out front watching him. Did they tell him that they let him in? Because when they tried to issue, detain him, for some reason, the senior attorney at the base would not allow for them to do a subpoena. They basically couldn't detain him because they said there was not enough facts and evidence, even though they had him. Believe it or not, they pinged his phone or something, and they knew he was at that river from 1 to 4 in the morning. Who goes fishing at 1 in the morning? So there was a lot of like, why would they keep on turning a blind eye?
Well, look, the good thing is that he's gone.
He's gone.
Okay, as far as
Right.
I'm concerned, the good thing, he's gone. Now we're going to go into see what happened. Also, can we have this go on to other people to help other people,
Yes.
like your sister?
Of course.
Yeah.
Last year, a soldier named Gregory Weedle Morales disappeared from Fort Hood. It was believed by the military that he had gone AWOL. They didn't launch an investigation into his whereabouts. His remains were found not far from where Vanessa Guillen's remains were found at about the same time period. Is there a problem with the culture at that particular base, do you think, that is allowing this to happen?
Well, let me ask you, do you know about that
Yes.
particular case?
Yes.
What about that case?
So they found his remains while they were looking for Vanessa's.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, right, you starts becoming suspect. And so, unfortunately, you know, the family did not get any information or things the
What, are they
same.
putting that together? Because it's
Now, it all.
with the same guy. He was there and then they find the other remains?
So, you know, we'll find out hopefully with the FBI. Thanks for asking them to join this case and the DOJ. Hopefully they'll see whether there's any kind of connection.
That's a good question, John. That's a very good question.
A couple of weeks back.
It's an interesting question. That you'd even know that is very interesting. It's impressive, actually. Yep.
Mr. President, you offered to help pay some of the funeral costs. Have you offered to do that for other families before?
I have.
Have you guys?
Personally, I have to do it personally. I can't do it through government.
So you've written checks to help for other families' funeral costs?
I have, because some families need help. They need help. I don't even know if you need help. Maybe you don't need help from a financial standpoint. I have no idea I just think it's a horrific thing that happened, and if you did need help, I'll be there to help you. Are you using the military for the funeral, though, or is it
We
gonna be?
actually declined because my mom didn't want a military casket and stuff like that. Vanessa's very unique, so we wanted something unique for her. So far, a lot of people have been helping us, but it has been a rough 3 months.
Okay, well, you'll let us know,
Thank you.
okay?
you.
You'll let us know, that's fine.
Oye, ¿te puedo decir algo? Al confesarle algo a lo que tenía que decirle. Yo quiero decirle que CID es muy corrupto porque ocultó también otra verdad allí que pasó. Que alguien me dijo a mí que habían asesinado a un bebé allí en Fort Hood. Y es horroroso lo que me dijo ese señor. Que lo aventaron desde la barraca hasta abajo. Y CID ocultó eso también. Es horroroso.
It's very painful, but she just.
No, there's a lot of pain here. This is just a horrible thing.
Another horrible.
What did your mother say?
That CID is not you cannot have confidence in them because they lied to us the first day, seeing my mom in pain. But yet, there's another story that CID tried to just throw it under the rug. There was a baby that was murdered. They threw him. It's just hard to say. An innocent life, a child, was thrown from the barracks room all the way from the top of the building to the floor. And it happened on a military base, and an innocent child died. Why? Why is that happening? They have to be investigated.
So was this at Fort Hood also?
Right. I
Fort Hood
believe
Army
Fort Hood
base.
Dile que el Señor dijo que no podía hablar porque lo mataban y mataban su familia. Por eso me dijo a mí que yo hablara.
This particular person, he is stationed on Fort Hood. He told my mother, because this is a pure example. He's afraid to speak up. He's afraid to tell others because they feel that they're going to endanger his own family. He's going to be in danger every day because why are they afraid to speak up? Why?
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, I would love to work with whoever.
We're gonna find out.
It is, because I know all the stories and I know what's
We'll look
happening.
at that too.
Un bebé.
Yeah, we'll look at that.
Thank you.
Un bebé. Yo creo que se haga justicia por mi Vanessa Guillen y por todos los demás soldados que han muerto.
She wants justice for Vanessa Guillen and for all those soldiers that have been found dead and being killed on a military base, and for those soldiers that have been sexually harassed and don't have the opportunity to go and have confidence to report their sexual harassment. Because a pure example that people are too afraid to report their sexual harassment, sexual assault, and it goes far to rape, is, and a pure example, you can find articles, 2015 prostitution ring was led by a sergeant on Fort Hood. But yet that same sergeant was leading the sharp classes, which that same sharp classes are supposed to prevent sexual harassment to happen throughout higher rank soldiers, sergeants. But yet, how is that possible that someone's trying to protect soldiers from sexual harassment and rape and abuse and assault, but yet you're conducting a prostitution ring? So the hashtag I Am Vanessa Guillen bill would have men and women have the confidence
Yeah.
into reporting the sexual harassment.
So we'll look into that too, Natalie, okay?
Thank you,
We're gonna
President.
look into that.
Thank you.
Well, we don't want to take any
I
more
want to thank you
time.
all for being here. It's a lot of courage, actually. It takes a lot of courage. And your daughter is very respected, and she's respected by me, and you're in the Oval Office. Your daughter would be very proud of you right now. She's looking down. She'll be very proud of you. So, and your sister. So, we will get to the bottom of a lot of this and maybe all of it, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you
President.
very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Justicia
President.
por Vanessa. Justicia.